Hello, y'all. Hello. We back at it again. We back at it, and we covering that Erika Kirk's interview, right? Why does this woman get all this backlash? And I tried to figure out what was wrong with the woman. What was it that everybody was looking at and saying, something is wrong? I figured it out. I figured out what it was. And I'll tell you later.
Breaking news out of Utah Valley University.
There's an emergency response there, flooded by law enforcement.
The conservative activist Charlie Kirk has died after being shot during an event.
The latest horrible example of what appears to be a rising tide of political violence.
In the past year, we've seen assassinations and assassination attempts against a Republican presidential candidate, Democratic legislators, and a conservative activist.
One moment, Charlie was doing what he loved.
That's a different question.
Arguing and debating on campus.
You're thinking way too simple about this. You gotta go deeper.
Truth. In front of a big crowd, and then he blinked. He blinked. And saw his savior in paradise.
Even as he had all of these positions, many of them seen as controversial on different issues, he had a huge galaxy of support on America's right.
When you stop the conversation, when you stop the dialogue, this is what happens. When we lose the ability and the willingness to communicate, we get violence.
CBS News presents A Town Hall with Erika Kirk.
Good evening. I'm Barry Weiss, editor-in-chief of CBS News, and I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. Let me tell you why we're here. If you're watching this or you're sitting here in this room with me, you know what I know, which is that we live in a very divided country, a country where many people feel that they can't speak across the political divide. Sometimes they feel they can't even speak across their own kitchen table. And one of the goals of the new CBS News is to change that. And this town hall is just the beginning. This is going to be the first of many conversations and debates on CBS News about the things that matter most, which are often the hardest to talk about. I can make one promise to you, and it's this. You will not agree with everything you hear tonight or in any of these other broadcasts. And that is exactly the point. Because the premise of a democracy is that we persuade each other with words and not violence, and that the only way to get to the truth is by talking to one another. And that brings me right to tonight's guest, Erika Kirk. 3 months ago, Erika Kirk's husband, Charlie, was assassinated.
See, let's start right there. We got to start right there with this Erika. This right here to me is people trying to introduce this woman to the American lexicon. They are trying to introduce this woman into our consciousness. The problem is she's unlikable. This is the problem. This woman is unlikable. It's not a matter of us accepting her or not. She's just an unlikable character, and they can't figure out how to fix her. And there's no way to fix her because she's unlikable.
On a college campus in Utah. To some, Charlie Kirk was controversial. To others, he was heroic. What is indisputable is that he transformed the American right in the 21st century. He did it through an organization called Turning Point USA, which he founded when he was only 18 years old. In the wake of Charlie's murder, Erika has now picked up his mantle. The mother of 2 young children, she is also now the CEO and chairwoman of Turning Point. Now, Charlie's murder was not an isolated tragedy. And tonight in the audience, we have other victims of the political violence that's ripping through this country. We also have religious leaders, college students, young Christians, and others invited by CBS News. You're going to be hearing from some of them tonight. Okay, we have a lot to talk about. So Erika, let's get started. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I was very grateful when you had reached out because it was an opportunity to be able to have a conversation that Charlie always enjoyed, being able to have dialogue on both sides so that people could really hear everything that's going on. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for making the time. There's so many subjects I want to cover. I want to begin with the hours and days after your husband was murdered.
Yes.
You got up in his podcast studio where he broadcasted from for many hours every day.
Yeah.
And you said this. You said, you have no idea what you have just unleashed. What did you mean by that?
Let me give you a little background of that day. We get home. The team goes to dinner. I'm laying in my daughter's bed and I can't sleep. It took me months to even walk into my bedroom. I'm laying in my daughter's bed. I can't sleep. I grab my phone and I start typing out it. And those are my words. That morning, the team reached out to me and said, they think they got the guy. You should probably say thank you to the authorities and just make a statement. I said, okay. I wasn't afraid. They said, let's go to the office and let's discuss. We're at the office and they said, do you want to go live? Or we can easily, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. We can easily pre-record this. I said, absolutely not. My husband always went live.
She don't do herself no favors. This is a beautiful, and I hate to say it, but I'm finna say it. This is a beautiful, unfeminine woman. And a lot of people say, well, she's beautiful, but she's not fit. This is a beautiful, unfeminine woman. And that's the problem that they're having. They're trying to sell her to us, and they can't sell her to us because most people find her unappealing. I don't understand how she could be so unappealing to people, but she is. Look at the face. The face is mean all the time. She just was smiling, and the smile whipped across her face, came off, and it was a mask. It's a mask. Watch when she started talking about Candace. Watch this.
I have nothing to hide. We're fully transparent. What you see is what you get. If I start breaking down on live TV, I break down on live TV. My husband was assassinated. He didn't die in a car accident. So we go live. I write all of my own speeches. And when I said that, that is the Holy Spirit that is unleashed. That is a revival that's unleashed.
Do y'all see that the real face, this is the real face. There is no relaxation. This is the real face that she always has. Everything else she's putting on as a mask. This is her real face. Notice how the eyes are dead or quiet or stilled. A lot of people look at you and they smile, and you can see the beauty in it, the laughter in it, the humanity in it. Even when she smiles, we can't see that. And they know that. She comes across as cold as hell on TV. They're going to try to start introducing her as a good person, as a nice person. This is what they're going to try to do. Mark my words.
That's not meant for call to violence. That's meant for people to understand that the Lord is moving in ways we have no idea. And God is going to use something so tragic to wake people up to realize that our life is short. He only lived 31 years. 31 years. And so, yes, you have no idea what has been unleashed. But I will promise until my last breath that I will let the Lord use me in ways that he only can to bring glory to him and to the kingdom. And it has been unbelievably powerful. And it's just the beginning.
Erika, one of the most alarming things about Charlie's murder was the way that some people in this.
Why would they have the person that is the editor-in-chief, founder of the Free Press? Why would they have that person out here giving an interview for her? Because she knows that this shit can go left. I'm not judging her by her looks. Not at all. I didn't say anything about her looks. I said she's unfeminine. That's nothing to do with her look. She is an exceptionally beautiful woman. She's just unfeminine. That's all.
This country reacted to it.
Yeah.
And not just online. This was an idea that you encountered a lot. And the idea was this. They kind of justified it. They basically said that because Charlie said or believed things that they believed were controversial or even hateful, that he somehow had it coming. What do you say to people who justified his death?
You're sick. He's a human being.
Look at the meanness. Look at how it looks. Just look at her. Watch the expression from smile to anger. From smile to anger. Right here. Watch this.
And the idea was this. They kind of justified it. They basically said that because Charlie said or believed things that they believed were controversial or even hateful, that he somehow had it coming. What do you say to people who justified his death?
You're sick. He's a human being. You think he deserved that? Tell that to my 3-year-old daughter. Excuse me.
They trying to make her come across as human. And she comes across as a robot. She might very well be grieving for her husband. I'm not going to take that away from her. That's not it. I'm saying this is a performance. And we should know that this is a performance, not a performance that she's not grieving her husband. This is a performance to sell her because they know she's not sellable.
You want to watch in high res the video of my husband being murdered and laugh and say he deserves it, there's something very sick in your soul, and I pray that God saves you.
She better come with some tears. You better come with some tears, girl, because that ain't working. And you notice how once the mask slips and she figures out she cannot pull it off, she starts to pull the tears out. The face don't get puffy. The face don't get red. None of that happens to her. Nothing happens to her face. It stays the way that it is. And that's somebody who is pretending to do what they're doing, pretending to care. This is wild.
I pray, because that is what is so wrong. The internet in this world has dehumanized us. My husband did something very simple. He talked to people. You're going to be murdered for talking to people. He didn't go after people. He went after your ideas. And if you think it's okay to murder someone because you think they had it coming for them because they took the time to have people come to the front of the line if they didn't agree with you, and you think it's okay because you don't like what they say or how they say it, that they should be murdered and you're enjoying it and you're rejoicing in that, that is evil. Evil. Excuse me.
As you know, and as I know, one of the ideas that has gained a lot of traction among young people, especially in this country, Erika, is, and this leads them to this kind of justification, is the idea that words themselves are violence. And that brings us tonight to our first audience question. It comes from Angel Eduardo. Angel is a senior writer and editor for the civil libertarian group, the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, or FIRE, and he writes passionately about issues of free speech. Angel.
Thank you, Perry. Excuse me. Hi, Erika, my condolences. A recent survey that we took after Charlie's assassination found that 90% of undergraduates believe to some extent that words can be violence. Another FIRE survey that we took earlier also found that 1/3 of surveyed students believe that using violence to stop disfavored speech can be acceptable, at least in rare cases. What's your response to those numbers? And what would you say to those students in particular?
Well, for the people who say that my husband might have incited violence, I know that was not your question, but I'm going to put a squash on it before anyone else can attach to that. My husband never incited violence. He never once said, go after them because they're saying X, Y, Z and they deserve to die. My husband never once said that, and he never would. What did he say? Come to the front of the line. I'll put my mic down. Tell me why you believe that. That's interesting. I never thought of that. But have you thought of this? People heckling, laughing at them. Stop. It took a lot of courage for them to come up here. Stop doing that. He gave them a microphone. He didn't take away a moment for them to speak back. He gave them a microphone. And what they do, they gave him a bullet in the neck. Totally different.
You see, she always invoke. She has to invoke. You know how some people just talk? They just talk and then you can tell that, you know, they really feel it and you start to have the empathy and the sympathy for them. She has to invoke people's feelings because they don't automatically, she's, how do I say it? Repulsive. There it is. There it is. She's somewhat repulsive. I couldn't think of another word, but that's it.
But you have secular revolutionaries that want to come out and say, you can't say that. I'm going to stop you from saying it. I'm going to. Why? You don't have a conversation. Something as simple as a conversation. And this is what is so fascinating to me. My husband knew that something as simple as having a conversation could change the world. So simple. That is an ancient thing. Come and sit down and have coffee with me. Why do you believe what you believe? 80s and 90s, they were doing this in Congress, then going to have a Subway afterwards. Why don't we do that anymore? Instead, it's violence. Usually one-sided, I'm not going to go there. But you know what's so interesting about my husband's book? The last book he will ever write. It could have been about.
Don't start that. Don't start. It was one-sided. It's never been one-sided. It's always been both sides. To a lesser degree, both sides. Just because you all are aware of it right now doesn't mean anything. You can pull up all of the statistics and find out all of the right-wing people have done things too. So don't come over and say this is left-wing rhetoric. That's the gaslighting that you get from the right. It's all the left doing it. The left does it. The left, only the left. No, it's y'all too. It's you right people too. All of you. All of you.
Politics. It could have been about football. It could have been about anything. He was multidimensional. It literally says, stop in the name of God. Stop. Stop the violence. Stop the hate. Have a conversation. Stop. And what he knew in that book was not just so much stop that, take a minute to get off of your phone and realize that we are all human, operating on this broken planet, all sinful, no one's perfect, and we're not getting out of here alive. But what he knew in that book was the balancing factor of communication. You cannot communicate with someone if you're not at peace with yourself. So he went on campus talking to a kid. They're screaming at him, screaming. Does he scream back? Not once. He sits there. And you know what he's thinking? It's in that book. Maybe you need to take a few hours. Get off your phone. Go for a walk in nature. Go sit and have a coffee. Go and tell your mother you love her.
I already said that same thing, Shannon. I said, let's introduce a bill, some kind of bill, and let's see if the Republicans turn it down. That's wild. Let's see. Because they ain't going to turn it down. But see, they wouldn't do that. They
go do something that is beautiful and healing instead of trying to tear something down that you did not build. That's my...
Why is it's misogynistic to tell her that she looks mean? That's not misogynistic. Y'all wild. I don't know whether you slow or something's going on, because that don't even make no sense. Nobody's attacking her because of her looks. It would be different if we kept saying she was ugly, she looked like a bat, she looked like a freak. We ain't called her no names. I ain't called her no name. She's a beautiful woman. She just is what is it? Feminine. That's all. Just unfeminine.
Thought on that.
We're going to talk about the book in a little bit, but I want to pick up on a theme that you've now hit on twice, which is the idea that the black squares that we all have in our pocket, our phones,
yes,
that they are doing something to us collectively.
No, we ain't going to do that. Let's move along a little bit.
Again, my husband was an amazing man. We're human. But I do not once, for 1 second, think he was anything else than exceptional.
Erika, as you know, the last person that Charlie ever spoke to was a Utah Valley student named Hunter Kozak. He was asking Charlie a question that day when he was shot, and he's here tonight, and he wants to ask you a question.
Hi there. Erika, I want to tell you how much I appreciate your calls for peace and unity, and I'm likewise horrified by the people in my so-called camp who were cheering about Charlie's murder. I believe that they stoke the flames of violence. But even worse is when powerful, influential people on either side of the aisle stoke the flames.
Yes, and we have to take the current president, to account, because he's the one who started it. He's the one who got it started. This discord in the public square. Because this person always calls for not violence, but he calls for disarray, or what is it called? Calls for name calling, calls for X, Y, and Z. So you all need to start from the top down. Start from the top down.
When they do it, the flames can become an inferno. And this leads me to Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth, who has more responsibility than anyone else to put the flames out. Just last month, President Trump called on 6 Democratic lawmakers to be tried for sedition, which he clarified was punishable by death. He then reposted a simple message.
Yeah, and who the hell does that? That's the current president. The current president is the person who started this whole disarray, this whole rhetoric, this whole atmosphere where it's okay for a person to call another person names. It's okay to call somebody evil, terrorist, garbage. This president started that. No other president started that. This president started that. So you need to start with the top down, from the top down.
Hang them. I think that you've been making strides to bring peace to our country, and that turning point has been asking Democrats to decry the individuals who cheer for violence. I have and will continue to decry them. But any good faith effort to stop political violence must hold both parties to the same standard and expectation. So in that spirit, will you condemn the violent rhetoric of Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth?
Oh, I didn't know he said that shit. Oh shit, he said, are you going to tell the president to watch his motherfucking mouth? Let's see what she say.
I appreciate your question. You know my heart. Why would I ever say, yes, go murder people? This is so much deeper than just one. I understand your sentiment. I do. But this is also so much deeper than just one person. This starts at the home.
But y'all do know that she knew Trump a long time ago, right? Y'all do know she knew Trump long before she married Charlie, right? Y'all do know that. There's ties that go way back, way back. Yeah, she doesn't seem to answer questions directly. It's always to the side, somehow, some way.
Okay? This starts with family. This starts with a seed that grows and grows. You can choose to have evil in your heart, or you can choose to have light. What you consume and what you absorb from the outside world will manifest itself. No, I will never agree with political violence. My husband.
She has no, there's no, y'all notice there's no transition from happy to anger. The eyes stay the same. Do you notice that her eyes stay the same? Just, it's creepy. Just creepy.
Is a victim of it. I'm a victim of it. But what I'm trying to say here is that we can blame everyone else. We have to look in the mirror when you become a father, when you become a mother. How are you raising your kids? Are you taking responsibility, or are you giving them a device and saying, go down that rabbit hole? I'm trying to go to Pilates class. You can just sit in the corner and look at your iPad or look at your phone and go down that rabbit hole and see what you can learn from that instead of being a parent. So my call to action from that is, parents, step up. Do you want your kid to be a thought leader or an assassin? That's where we're at.
Do you think our political leaders have a responsibility to turn the temperature down right now?
Well, I think everyone has a responsibility to do that, and I'm doing my part.
You look, what does she do that? That is terrible. That is a terrible thing that she does when she does that. When she hooks her chin like she does and says, it's terrible. This is why they have her coming on. Now she's coming on to the town halls. She's becoming more public. How does a widow within 3 months have at least 10 or 12 public appearances? I don't understand. What is she doing? Okay. What is she doing? Because she's so unfeminine. That's what it's the unfeminine aspect of her that I can't describe it any other way. It's like an unfeminine thing that she has going on. And she may very well be missing her husband. I'm not going to say she not. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, boy, that she comes wrong. She comes across very wrong.
I'm not in control of other people.
Okay, ahead, a father whose daughter was murdered.
Well, we're not going to do that. We're going to skip ahead. Because we want to hear what she got to say to the Candace person. Who is this person right here? Okay.
Welcome back to our CBS News Town Hall with Erika Kirk. Bob Milgram.
If you want me to read any of your shit, you have to put it in a super chat. I can't be following shit like this. I don't know who says what. If you want me to read it, put it in a super chat. Otherwise, I ain't going to read it.
Is the father of Sarah Milgram. Sarah was fatally shot last May outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., alongside Yaron Lashinsky, her boyfriend. Sarah was just 26 years old when she was killed. Bob, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Barry. Hello, Erika. Just as our family could not anticipate the pain we've been going through following the murder of our daughter, Sarah, there's no way I can understand the pain that you and your children are going through as a result of Charlie's tragic death. Our daughter was killed because of anti-Semitism, hate against Jews, and hate against the Jewish homeland, Israel. We know about the growth of anti-Semitism on the left, including here in New York City, where the mayor-elect still will not condemn the phrase, globalize the infantata. What I want you to address is growing anti-Semitism on the right, including Holocaust denial, anti-Zionism, and the normalizing of centuries
shit. People keep calling her on the carpet. She done got called on the carpet twice. Let's see if she answers this question. He said, we know the people on the left have a growing sense of anti-Semitism. Let's see if she condemns the people on the right who have a growing sense of anti-Semitism. Let's see what she says.
Sold conspiracy theories about Jews. Will you here condemn the individuals spreading that hate and speak out clearly enough against anti-Semitism so we can prevent another tragedy?
Yes, sir. First of all, I'm so sorry. You and I are a part of a very small club. Painful. But you're in good company, and I will pray for you. Sucks, doesn't it?
Let's see if she actually answers the question, or does she cry and try to make us pull the heartstrings. She's going to try to pull our heartstrings. Is she going to actually condemn people on the right for their anti-Semitism? Or is she going to deflect by giving us tears? That damn tissue is still crinkly. That tells me there ain't enough liquid on that damn napkin.
Hate is hate. It's evil. Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel, Jewish people. It's awful. Awful. Anti-Semitism is what healing factor comes out of hating Jewish people? What healing factor comes out of hating Christians? What healing factor comes out? Hate in general. Nothing.
What healing factor comes out by hating immigrants, blacks, gays, trans? What comes out of it?
Nothing. Charlie always would say very clearly, Jew hate was brain rot. He would always say it. We've been to Israel twice together. And to be able to walk in the place where our Lord walked and see the Bible come to life in Technicolor, how could you hate that place?
No, and don't get me wrong. I don't hate Jews one way or the other. I don't have any thought or feeling amongst them. I'm not Jewish. I'm not Catholic. I have no hate whatsoever. People are human. Human beings are human beings. It is what it is. Somebody said, well, she gives. I don't know. I don't know what the jig is about this woman.
How could you hate the Jewish people? Why? Because you need to fulfill a conspiracy theory? I'm wrapped in, people say I'm a part of conspiracy theories all the time.
Yes, but do you say, I condemn the right side, like he asked you to? Or are you still running your mouth?
It's sick, and it needs to stop. We are human. No one is perfect.
That's my point exactly. Why do you have such hate for gays, trans, blacks, all of those? But this is the Christian way, right? We decide, we make a choice whether we're going to like blacks, whites, gays, trans.
No Christian is perfect. No Jew is perfect. No Muslim is perfect. We are broken, sinful humans in need of a...
Blacks, gays, trans, none of them is perfect either. But I bet y'all still got that hate for him.
Lord and Savior. And that's why it is so important to give your life to the Lord. Because once you do that and you fully surrender to the Lord, you have no room in your heart for hate. And so, sir, I am so sorry what happened to your daughter. I pray that does not happen. And I pray that that is something that we can somehow extinguish in this world. But we are living in enemy-occupied territory. And every single day we need to guard ourselves, guard our minds, guard our heart. And the best way to do that is reading God's word. And you cannot separate the Old Testament from the New Testament. You cannot. You cannot.
Bob, do you want to ask a follow-up?
Is there anything specific that Turning Point can do to combat anti-Semitism?
Yeah, so we're all of our college campus and high school campuses, we have these conversations. And our students understand.
Lee May, you better not be in my fucking chat telling me to shut up. You better not be in my chat telling me to shut up.
Exactly my heart and Charlie's heart and the sentiment of everything I just said. We have Shabbat dinner happening at AmFest. We have individuals in our chapters who are Jewish. We have people that are going to be having booths. We have an exhibit hall at AmFest that are Jewish, that have Jewish organizations. The only way to combat evil, just like Charlie did, is with dialogue and not being afraid to do.
The host is obsessing over identity politics. I don't obsess over identity politics. That's the people on the right who over obsess about identity politics. Because the first thing out of most of your mouths is, I hate gays, trans, X, Y, and Z. That doesn't happen on the left. I'm just saying what this man is saying. She said, we don't hate people, we don't hate Jews, we don't hate black, we don't hate Christian, And I just added on. You're not supposed to hate trans. You're not supposed to hate gays. You're not supposed to hate blacks. I'm not over-identifying anything.
Do it. If you have these things that are being said, you need to counter it with the truth. And if you don't, there's a void and a vacuum. And so even though they're a small number, they get louder and louder. So we need to do our best, which we're doing our part. We're going to continue to do our part to make sure that the truth is always heard. We'll amplify it even more. And we're going to do the best we can, but we need the whole community. We need everyone in on that.
Bob, thank you so much. I want to talk about discernment.
Yes.
Okay. Being able to separate truth from lies, reality from unreality.
Yes.
A 22-year-old man named Tyler Robinson has been arrested and charged with the murder of your husband. And yet there are a huge number of conspiracy theories, you might call them brain rot, that are spreading right now online about the actual
here she go.
story behind the reality.
Y'all make sure y'all hit the like, share, and subscribe button, please, and thank you. We have content like this every day. We like to dig into modern stories, and we like to dig into, gossip things, whatever. But it's mostly political, related to political people, related to political things. Today, I found out about Erika Kirk, and I just wanted to emphasize, because I was going to do a feminism type thing, which is going to be hooked onto this, but she is definitely not as feminine as she's supposed to be. I don't know why, but she's not.
One, people say that Tyler Robinson was actually a MAGA Republican. Or two, some people say you were actually a Mossad agent sitting in front of me, and you were Charlie's handler, and Israel killed Charlie.
Right.
Other people say that a number of men in the crowd were wearing maroon T-shirts, and this signifies that his killing was an elite airborne operation, whatever that means. They say that the rings on your fingers, which are
my kids'
initials,
my wedding band, the Medal of Freedom, my engagement ring.
But apparently they symbolize some kind of secret plot. There's also a new theory that Egyptian aircraft have been tracking you. What is going on? Why are there so many conspiracies spreading about what seems to be a pretty open and shut case?
This is the first time that we have seen evil on display where we have social media at our fingertips. Something so evil that happened, people are wanting answers immediately. They are wanting to figure out how to wrap their mind around this. Egyptian planes.
Egyptian
planes.
Do you believe that Tyler Robinson murdered your husband?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think it is so hard for...
Look at the hatred. She said she forgave Tyler Robinson. Look at the look. Look at the look. You said you forgave Tyler Robinson. She said, yes, he did. That's a look of something. That ain't no forgiveness, that's for sure. And if that is forgiveness, I don't know where's her smile, where's her happy face, her mad face then? She looks mad. Look at the face.
So many people to believe that reality.
Because it's too simple. Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. I've seen the autopsy report. I've seen our case pulled together. I've been in constant contact with our lawyers, the prosecuting team. I've seen it all. And let me tell you this. Why in the world, why should we, prior to the trial, lay all of our hands and cards on the table for the defense team to see, to somehow then, I don't even know what they would do with it. But what I will say, and I want to get on the Egyptian plane thing. We'll take a flight on that for a second. What I will say is what I'm worried about, and I'm fascinated just from a legal standpoint, to see how the United Healthcare trials pans out. And I say that because this is the first time where we are seeing the implications.
You're talking about Luigi Mangione.
Correct. I prefer never to say any of their names. They do not even deserve the ounce of oxygen and breath out of my body. But what I mean is it's fascinating to see how social media will impact that court case, just how it might impact mine.
Are you nervous he's not going to get a fair trial?
I'm nervous that there could be, they'll say we can't find a fair jury. Like they're going to taint the jury pool. And in that case.
That's how widespread you think these conspiracies have gone.
Yes.
That's how mainstream they become. Okay.
Egyptian planes.
You want to talk about Egyptian planes?
Okay. I was pregnant for 90% of those trips. Mind you, I've never, all those places they said I've traveled, I've never been. I mean, I've been, but I'm not within those states that they've.
But you even said you need to.
No, but this is, yeah, but I do on that one. Only because from a humor standpoint, I intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed, not because I didn't.
Let everybody else tell it. She was an old lady. She was older than him. Let this red pill people tell it. She was too old for him. Don't deal with no older woman. Don't ever do that. And she wasn't traditional. Like people running around here talking about traditional. She wasn't no traditional wife. Not at all.
Anyway. Yes, we did keep it very private. But it's because it was a moment very sacred. I was growing a human inside of me, my baby. The world that Charlie and I live in is very toxic at times.
Yeah.
And when you are growing a beautiful child in you, I don't want to be around it. I want to enjoy eating my In-N-Out burger and my hot fudge sundae. That's what I want to do. I'm pregnant and I have 9 months to own it. You really think I'm going to be on an Egyptian plane while I'm wanting to be with my In-N-Out burger and my chocolate milkshake? No, I'm not. So if you want to go through my flight log, go right ahead. It's very boring. You say I was here on this date. I have a photo in my phone to prove that I actually was in the hospital because I was having contractions. So game on.
The podcaster Candace Owens, okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie.
Now look at the face. Pay close attention. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me pull it up. Let me get it close to the screen. Pay close attention the way the smile comes from her face, all the way to that frown, that look of I'm getting that chick. Look at the look on her face about Candace.
At one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she's making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
Stop.
Look at the look. Look at the look. And I said this the other night. How is it that Candace can say she was good friends with Charlie Kirk and the wife not invite Candace to the funeral? She was good friends with Charlie Kirk, but she was not invited to Charlie Kirk's funeral. What did Candace do to this woman right here that would make her not invite Candace to the funeral? Even though Candace got fired, right? Check it out. Candace got fired because she said that Hitler wasn't a bad guy before Hitler did whatever he did, right? She got fired because she said that. But that didn't mean that her and Charlie, that her and Charlie couldn't be friends. She just said the wrong thing. She was on a show with Charlie. The minute she said what she said, she would have went behind the scenes and said, Charlie, you know I didn't mean that. You know I don't mean that about the Israeli people. I don't mean that about Jewish people. And her and Charlie made up. So if Charlie and Candace made up and they was friends like Candace said they were, why this chick got this look on her face like, I don't want that bitch talking about me? How she ain't friends? Your husband was friends with this woman, but you ain't friends with this woman. If that woman didn't do nothing to you, if you didn't do nothing to that woman, what did Candace do to you? Or what did you do to Candace? Or what did Candace find out? Look at the look. There's something that happened between them three. Something.
That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
Okay. The next question comes from a person who may be familiar to you, Erika, because Charlie interviewed him for his show last August. Rob Henderson.
Shut your ass up, Dubs. Ain't not one goddamn person said anything about race. And then you got your goofy ass in here talking about race. Ain't nobody said nothing about race at all. But you got your goofy ass in here talking about race. If my husband had a good friend, a good female friend, and we wasn't having sex, me and her or him and her, I wouldn't have no problem with her coming to the funeral. She wasn't even invited to the funeral. What the hell you mean? Something went on between those three. And it ain't got nothing to do with no race. I don't know why the hell anybody would even say that.
Listen, to you.
Thank you, Barry. And thank you, Erika. During that discussion with Charlie, neither of us knew that was going to be the last long-form interview he would ever conduct, because his life was cut short by the actions of a very disturbed young man. As someone who admired Charlie's ability to offer young people a productive and optimistic path, I wanted to ask, how should the conservative movement think about cultivating leaders and role models for young men, and how can it continue offering them a constructive alternative to the toxic currents Charlie so astutely criticized?
It's a great question. First of all, your interview was amazing. It's one of my favorite ones to look back on. Charlie connected with you very well. And I can always tell when he does on his show. I've always watched his show. And I could always tell because his questions and his engagement would shift.
Thank you.
He always loved that conversation with you. As the CEO of Turning Point USA, it is my responsibility to make sure that our youth is in good hands. Our chapter leaders are amazing. And there's some leaders within those groups you guys have not even seen or heard about yet, but you will one day. And
her interview is something else, right? And her interview, here's the thing, with her interview, people keep saying she's a trad wife. She's not a trad wife. She never was a trad wife. But this is what they're touting. This is what they're trying to pull out of their bag, that she's a trad wife. Y'all hit the like and share and subscribe, please, and thank you. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. Please, I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it. She is anything but. How does she have all those rings on her hand? Why does she wears those all the time? She has never been a traditional wife. But why was Charlie touting her like she was a traditional wife when she wasn't? So how are we saying this is what we're supposed to model after if she's not really a traditional wife? It's wild.
you'll be blown away because they are amazing kids. We had 2 of them at our gala event this weekend, and they spoke in front of our donors. It was the first time I ever met them. Phenomenal kids. Not only are they smart, they have a heart. Not only do they have a heart, they can understand and see the Gen Z landscape in a way that we can't. And from a peer-to-peer communication level, they're phenomenal. So I personally, having a front row seat to the rising generation, the courageous generation, they're amazing. Yes, there are bad apples. Millennials, we got them too. So do the baby boomers. So does Gen X. No one's escaping the bad apples. It's just the batch. But it is our responsibility, my responsibility, our team's responsibility to make sure that our chapters are cultivating those leaders. So when they leave high school and they decide not to go to college, they're in the workforce, being incredible people and incredible leaders. They might not be influencers. Not everyone's meant to. Everyone plays a very specific role. But they'll be someone in something very important, and they'll plant seeds. And that's all you have to do, is plant the seed. And then let truth grow from there. But thank you again for the time that you spent with my husband on that final conversation. It meant a lot to him. It means a lot to me to be able to have that to show my babies one day.
Thank you, Rob. Coming up, should women focus?
She's not that traditional woman. It's okay. It's okay. People put her in that box, but she's never been in that box. She's never been that traditional person. Man, that went way big. Okay? Erika, she's never been that. To say it plainly, women like Erika Kirk, who call themselves trad wives, are not living outside of feminism. They are living inside of feminism and the results of feminism. Her ability to be that's a choice. These are choices. Women consider themselves trad wives and whatnot. It's a choice. It's a choice to be able to stay home, to get married, to raise kids, to have legal protection, medical care, money access, and a voice online too. It's modern reality. Feminism didn't force women to abandon family or motherhood. That's the shit that people are telling you. It fought to make sure those things were choices instead of cages. Being at home, being a wife, traditional wife, is a choice. That's what feminism fought for it to be a choice. And people need to understand that distinction. See, feminism gets a bad rap because people confuse the loudest voices with the actual work that has been done for feminism. The truth is, most women today, modern women, trad wives, working moms, stay-at-home women, are standing on the ground that we feminists cleared for them. We cleared the ground so you could do what you could do. The right to choose different life, the right to work without being owned, without being trapped, without being silenced. That shit didn't just happen. It didn't evolve like that. It never evolved like that. We built it. And even when women disagree with feminism today, their lives are still proof that the movement worked, that feminism worked. And that's the problem. You don't agree because women right now are freer to choose a path at all when they didn't have a path before. So when people get to bitching about feminism, I'm like, you don't even fucking know what we had to go through in order for these girls to get this shit. In order for these girls to be able to have to choose whether they want to take birth control, in order to choose whether they wanted to work, in order to choose whether they wanted to stay at home. That's what goofy people don't understand about tradition or feminism. That's what you goofy people believe. The real people understand what feminism did. So when I hear a chick on TV or on the internet talking about feminism killed the marriage, feminism killed wives and shit, motherfucker, it wouldn't even be like it is if there wasn't. The whole point was it wouldn't even be like it is if there wasn't no feminism. Just goofy people don't understand feminism at all. Not at all. Okay? But you can't let them under, you can't tell them that. Erika Kirk is not a modern, not a trade wife. I hate that damn word. She is not a trade wife. She is a modern day woman, and every other woman that's on this planet is a modern day woman too. It's a modern day, it's just a modern day thing. It is what it is. Okay? It is what it is. Okay? But a lot of people like to pretend. If you call yourself a trad wife, you like to shame other modern women. You are standing on the very freedom you pretend to reject. Okay? You are not living in the past. You're living in the present, using modern rights, using modern laws, using modern medicine, using modern technology and modern fucking protections. Then turning your ass around and start wagging your finger at modern day women. Shut your ass up when it comes to feminism. Because if you don't know what feminism is and how we on the backs of us women like us who took the shit that we had to take, you wouldn't be standing where your ass is. You are not a 1950s housewife who could not decide whether she was going to have a baby or not, who couldn't decide whether she was going to work or not. You are not a pioneering woman. You are not living without rights. You are not living without money. You are not living without a voice or without protection. You have a bank account. You have legal rights. You can leave your marriage if you want to. You can speak out if you want to. You can post shit online if you want to. You can vote when you want to. You can work if you choose to work. Those are not fucking traditional realities. Those are feminist ones. And we fought for y'all to have that. We fought for you women to have these things. And we got to be honest. You would not survive, nor would you want to survive in the actual world that you goddamn traditional women keep romanticizing. You wouldn't want to be legally owned by your husband, would you? Every time a man get online talking about, I am the leader, what them women do? Every last woman be balking at that shit. You ain't my leader. You ain't my leader. You would not want to be legally owned by your husband like when I first got married. You wouldn't want to be unable to open a goddamn bank account. You would not want to be forced to stay in an abusive marriage. You would not want to risk the death of childbirth without medical care. You would not want to be quiet, dependent, disposable. So stop fucking pretending that trad wife is better than a modern day woman, because she's not. The modern day woman is what you standing on the back of. Okay? What you're really doing, you traditional wives, people who glorify traditional women, you cherry picking. You cherry picking. You take the aesthetics of traditional wife while keeping the modern day safety net feminines fought for. You keep the choice. You keep the exit. You keep, I can leave my wife. You keep the protection. You keep the platform. Then you shame other women for using those same choices, but using them differently. That is not moral superiority, trad wives. That's hypocrisy. And the men who cheer that shit on, like I hear them in the art, I see you guys in the damn chat. I see you. I see you. Let me speak more directly to you. You love the idea of traditional women because it flatters your authority, but you don't want traditional responsibility. You don't want a full financial burden of it. You don't want legal accountability for it. You don't want to be the sole provider with no safety net. You want submission without sacrifice, control without duty, nostalgia without consequences. You want women to act like it's 1955 while the world operates like 2025. Shut up. That's not leadership. That's fantasy, oh honey. It's fantasy. You benefit from women working. Stop it. You benefit from women contributing. Stop it. You benefit from women paying bills. Stop it. Raising kids. Yeah, you need to get the fuck on, Jim Griver. I'm talking to the women, the goofy women who be agreeing with you dumbass men about feminism being something that should be ashamed of. You don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. I got the wrong goddamn audience. Let me play this video. Because if you dumb and you don't understand what the fuck I said, I can't even be talking. Because if I'm lying, I'm flying. Can't nobody in the chat put up no lie that I told. Let me shut up. Because y'all goofy. Because you don't understand what the hell I'm talking about.
Because my mom's sick, and I need to be available because I'm her medical power of attorney, so I need to be available if something happens. And so I make it what works for me. But that's what was so beautiful about that. Charlie wasn't legalistic about it. He's like, make it your own.
Erika, you have made a lot of comments that a lot of people have noticed about women, suggesting, you know this, right? Suggesting that women should get married young, that they should have children young, that they should prioritize family over their careers. And at the same time...
And that leads me into this right here. She talking about be a traditional wife, be a traditional person, get married, have babies young. Who the hell wants to have, what female wants to have babies young straight off the bat? And then y'all divorce by the time y'all 35 because you can't stand her and she can't stand you. Shut your ass up. That don't even make no sense. Most people need to get to know themselves before they get into a relationship. Okay? That shit only works. Marriage only benefits men. That's it. That's it.
Time, you are now doing both. You now have 2 young children, I think both under the age of 3. And you're the CEO and chairwoman of Turning Point. Square that for us. Some people look at you and say, you know, she's trying to make it a binary choice. You can be the trad wife or the girl boss, but look at her. She's having both. What do you say to them?
Right. Well, I didn't ask for this. Obviously it's a blessing that I view it as a blessing. It's a duty to my husband. But I was very happy being a stay-at-home mom. There's nothing wrong with being a mother. There's actually more beautiful and emotional and powerful job title, if you will, being a mother. And for me, I experienced what it was like living in New York, living that boss babe culture. But when I met Charlie and we had our babies, I was in it. That was all hands on deck. I would take that world in a heartbeat. Always. But you know what? There was never any daylight between Charlie and I, and his mission was my mission. So stepping into this role is not so much a job title. This is not a 9-to-5 for me. This is something that I'm very passionate about because it's still a remaining breathing version of my husband, this Turning Point USA. So this organization is not just a company to me. And the staff.
Nobody asked her to step up and get into that role. Nobody asked her to do none of this shit. This ain't no traditional wife that we're talking about. We're talking about a modern day woman. This is what we're talking about. She's a modern day woman.
Staff and employees are not staff and employees, they're family. And so for me, it's a lot different and a lot deeper than a career. This is very personal. But yes, it is hard. But at the same day, it takes a village, and I have one heck of a village.
We have a woman here that has a question.
I ain't going to take it away from her. I'm saying she is a beautiful woman. She is just unfeminine. She is just unfeminine. Because she's cold. That's why.
Perfectly calibrated to this part of our conversation. I want to hand it over to Isabella Reggi.
Thank you. And Erika, you and your family are in my prayers.
Thank you.
I'm a 26-year-old Christian woman living in New York City. I would like to stay here long term, but I wonder whether it's sustainable. Do you believe there's a place for women like myself in modern cities who care about having a career, but also marrying a like-minded Christian conservative man?
Well, yeah. So it just depends on where you're looking. You know, if you're on the apps, I don't know if you're on the apps. I don't know if, I'm not going to ask you your personal journey, but what I will say is when I lived out here, I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than I don't drink. I find it unproductive, not because I'm holier than whatever. I just don't operate that way. But I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another. So it goes twofold here. So if you're expecting to marry someone that...
Y'all be on some goofy-ish. You be on some goofy... So let me address some of y'all in the damn chat. I am not the only person that sees her coldness. Stop that shit. Stop that shit. I am not the only person that sees her coldness. Y'all make it seem as though I'm the only one. I just happen to be saying it. Don't hate the messenger. What the fuck is wrong with you? People can't help it that she seems to be cold. She has an image problem. That's not my fucking problem. She has an image problem. Most people think she should be at home taking care of those goddamn kids. How the hell is it me saying she's cold wrong? That makes no sense whatsoever. Y'all need to check yourself. She comes across cold to a lot of people. Stop it. I'm just saying it.
That I was blessed with, like a Charlie, you have to be the type of woman that will attract a Charlie. Are you going to church? Are you going to Bible study? Did you tell your pastor that you are ready for the Lord to bring into your life the man that you've been praying for? You yourself need to be prepared for that man, and only you will know how to do that. Does that mean staying out and going out with the girls? I'm not saying you sit on your couch and all of a sudden he's going to knock on your door and be like, honey, let's rendezvous. Like, that's not how it happens. It's not. Granted, my situation was a little different. I went to it.
You went to a job interview.
Literally. So this is how good the Lord is.
I haven't called that woman fake. I haven't called this woman no name. I just said she comes across as very unfeminine. That's it. Very unfeminine. Very meanish. Very coldish. Some people just do. She may not be. Nobody says that she is. I have said from the beginning that she is unfeminine. And she is cold. That's it. That's the way she comes across to me. She may come across some other way to other people, but she comes across cold and unfeminine to me.
He knew that because I was not dating in New York City, he knew that in order for me to know that that was my man, he had to blanket Charlie as a job interview.
I don't care. I don't care first name. Stop talking to me. I don't care.
Because if that went in, no joke.
Yes, all day. All day. All day. First name, all day.
He came to me and said, hey, let's go on a date to Bill's Burgers. I'd be like, I am so sorry. Thank you, but no, we're not doing this. That was my mindset. I was not in that headspace. I just wasn't.
The point of me doing this, and I said it at the beginning, they know she has an individual problem. They know she has a image problem. There are more people saying that she's cold and unfeeling than there are people who's just saying, leave her alone. Don't talk about her. Leave her alone. They know she has an image problem. They brought Barry Weiss out there. Barry Weiss, who's homely as the day is long, she comes out and tries to make her human. You can't make her come across as human. You can't make her come across as warm. She just doesn't do that. It's the eyes. The eyes are going to kill it every time. And she does no favors with her being angry when someone says one or two things.
But God will work in incredible ways when you surrender the pen for him to write your love story. And when you know that, look, if I remain in the jet stream of God's will, he will provide for me in ways I cannot even imagine. And that is my prayer for you. My prayer for you is to remain open and to remain prayerful and to let people around you know, old school style, I'm ready and I'm looking to get married and having a family. You can always have your career. Being able to have a family truly is a very limited, short window. You can start your career. If you have people and it's amazing business, have other people run it. You can still manage it. You can still pour into it, but you have your babies. And then once your babies are grown and the nest is empty, go back to your career. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, why ain't you doing that? Why ain't you doing that? Why are you trying to run TPS USA? Why are you trying to run TPS USA? How you giving advice about having the babies, staying at home with the babies, then going back to work at TPSU? Shut your mouth, girl. She ain't no damn traditional wife. Shut your mouth. You hear what she just told her, right? When the babies are grown, when the babies are out of the house, then you can go back to your career. Why you ain't doing that? Why you ain't doing that? Why you ain't doing that?
That if you don't have a career, you have your babies, the Lord's going to inspire something inside of you that you're like, you know what? There's a problem. I have a solution. How many baby companies have been born out of moms? You know, like the little carrier seat or a stroller or something.
We live for that carrier seat.
Right. 100%. I'm not trying to plug them for like something. So I'm just trying not to even say the name, but you understand my sentiment is that there's something really special and beautiful about making sure that you are the woman that your future husband deserves and vice versa. Do not settle.
Thank you.
Thanks, Isabella. Up next, the emotional moment that Erika Kirk forgave her husband's alleged murderer. Stay with us.
Well, let's see. Did she really forgive her husband's murderer? Did she really forgive him? Is that it? Now, she gave that advice. She gave that advice to the young lady, but she's not doing that. She's not doing that. She's not following the advice. This is what I don't like when people don't follow the advice that everybody else. Yes, she did not. Yes, she did just tell her after you have babies, you can go back to work. She did say that. I ain't deaf. I heard her say that. What do you mean?
I forgive him.
I forgive him because it was what Christ did and is what Charlie would do.
Erika, that moment that we just watched.
Yeah, right.
Was unforgettable.
Right, redhead. I'm sorry.
I was one of millions of people across the world that watched you get up on that stage and forgive the man who murdered your husband. And I think a lot of people looked at it and thought, this is incomprehensible. It's almost baffling. And I want you to speak to those who are unable to understand, really, that act of grace. How is it possible that you can forgive the person that murdered your husband?
I'm not forgetting what he did. I'm not condoning what he did. What he did is sick.
But watch her expressions, y'all. You got to watch her expressions. It's like sometimes it can get the anger can come through and she can show it on her face. She can't hide nothing. That's the thing. It's always the evil. You know how you have a face and behind it your emotions swirl, and sometimes your emotions are on your face and sometimes they not. The only thing that comes to her face is anger. The only thing that comes to her face is anger. Never really joy. Never really that. Only anger.
Sick and evil. So sick and evil. What I am doing is releasing myself from the enemy's hands where he could have a foothold in me and he could be able to just, like I said earlier, you have a choice. Am I going to take that moment? And I will never say anything I don't mean. I really prayed on that moment. That was a game time decision. I'll never say what I don't mean. But am I going to take that moment to say, rally the troops, burn the city down, march in the streets? Or am I going to take that moment and unleash something like we talked about, even greater, more powerful, and say, it's a revival? And let that unleash and let the Lord use it in ways that no one else could have ever imagined.
If you were to meet the man, I won't name him again, accused of murdering your husband, do you know what you would say to him?
Nothing.
You would say nothing.
I have nothing to say to you. Nothing.
Is there a difference, Erika, between forgiving someone in a religious and spiritual sense, but also wanting justice for them here on earth?
No, of course. But we serve a just God. And I rest easy in knowing that he's sovereign, but he's just. And so let the Lord handle that.
I want to bring in our final audience question for tonight.
That whole look, I don't know whether I believe her or not. I can't. It's almost the words are almost unbelievable, incomprehensible, or maybe because of the messenger, they appear to be fake. It has to be that. I know she comes across as very unfeminine. Very unfeminine. But it's like, I don't know.
I want to turn it over to Joe Lavoie.
Hi, thank you. Your faith in this process has been inspiring, and that inspires this question. How are you able to trust God amidst unfair and immense suffering?
One of my favorite books in the Bible is the book of Job. And what's so powerful about that book is that you read it and you go along and you say, how could bad things happen to good people? But what happens at the end of that book? God does restore. He does, even more so than Job had prior. But when did that happen? It happened when Job prayed for his friends. Even though they were against him, even though there was all this drama, he prayed for his friends. You can call them enemies. That's not saying, oh, Lord, my enemy is like, no. There's boldness in being able to say, Lord, do what only you can do. And the Lord restored what Job had lost. That's how.
We'll be right back.
And it always comes across as very unfeminine, unrepentant. Very, very, very unrepentant. Right? So I say to her, okay, her and Charlie may have been soulmates, but she is out there in the public. She's not doing the traditional things. She's supposed to be a traditional wife. She doesn't come across as that. Yes, she got a really hardcore sale. I mean, she's a modern woman. Modern women are not immoral. They're not immoral because they work or they delay marriage or choose not to have children or do choose to have children later, okay? Or decide to leave marriages. It's not that. Those choices exist because women fought to be treated as full adults. So she's acting on her full adulthood. She doesn't have to be traditional anymore. She can be who she really is. Maybe we hadn't thought about that. Maybe she fell into the traditional role with Charlie because that's what he wanted. But now that she doesn't have Charlie, she doesn't have to be traditional anymore. She doesn't have to do any of that anymore, right? Because she doesn't appear to me, she threw that wife. You know what changed it for me? When I saw her in those when I saw her in those leather pants. Y'all seen when she went to that thing and she had them leather pants on and she hugged JD Vance? You see what I'm saying? Why did that woman have on them leather damn pants and a t-shirt? Why did she do that? I don't, that was a bad, to me, right there was the point where I said, okay, I got to be looking at you 2 or 3 times because you don't come across as sincere. You know this is a televised event. You walked your ass in there with some leather pants on, and a t-shirt. And you thought that was a grieving outfit. What you got on right now? What she got on right now? Why you didn't wear that to that event with JD Vance? Why you didn't wear that what you got on at JD Vance? It ain't like you don't have a lot of money that you can't get no suit. It ain't like you couldn't have bought a dress or a skirt. And what's going on? You had on leather pants, girl. Like you was finna go to a club, or you just came for a club. Or tight ass motherfucking leather pants too. Like what? Looked at her like what? So that tells me ain't no damn modern day wife. She ain't no modern day. She ain't no traditional wife. She gonna do modern day shit. She is a modern day wife. Doing her thing. And she misses her husband. Okay, fine. But she knows she look good enough to find somebody else. She got enough money to scour the whole motherfucking world and find her a whole nother husband. Not saying, I'm just saying. Okay? She just comes across like that husband, that was a whole nother level. Them leather pants just put me in a whole nother mind frame with her. And then you grab JD Vance. Then you grabbed JD Vance by the back of the head. You grabbed JD Vance by the back of the head and you pulled him close. That's wild. Let's finish her out. Okay.
I want to thank Erika Kirk so much for joining me tonight. And I also want to thank our audience for participating in this town hall. CBS News is going to have many more conversations like this in the weeks and months ahead. So stay tuned. More town halls, more debates, more talking about the things that matter. I'm Barry Weiss here in New York. Good night.
But who told you to have time? Who told you to keep having town halls? That's the question. Who told her to keep having town halls? Nobody said anything about no town halls. Nobody said that we needed to have town halls around this country.
Modern day feminism is pretty dangerous for women, in my opinion. I think the physical and mental effects that abortion has on a woman's physical body.
So you think having kids also takes a toll on the body? Like
I was
having
gonna say, I feel like not having access to that medical care that I need makes me feel less safe than having it. So I feel like currently right now, like I wanted to have a baby within the next few years. I don't feel safe right now having that because I don't have access to certain medical procedures that I think I deserve and I need.
What do you need, Ren, if you're ready to have a baby?
Women around the United States are currently dying in hospitals right now because they can't have access to medical needs because doctors are too afraid to perform them.
Yeah, and I think that's actually not true.
No, I think your point about contraception and abortion is ignoring like several dimensions. That contraception is not just for birth control. Contraception can also be used for balancing hormones. So, for example, I suffered from ovarian cyst. That if I'm not on birth control, they will grow and get out of control, cause me immense pain. Not only that, there are also medical procedures. There's medical abortion that is necessary in order to preserve the life of the mother who is existing in the world right now and housing the child. But not only that, I just kind of want to go back a little bit further to some of what you were saying about women, why you disagree with it, which I love hearing your perspective, and I think that it's valid and it's interesting to hear your point of view. But I think that if you, going back to happiness per se, pre and post feminism, take, for example, there's so many women who I hear.
Ulysses, so very true. She asked for privacy, but then she gets on TV and has town halls. Make it make sense.
Who will go back and, look at their grandmother, their great grandmother who was around in say the 40s, 50s or before and they'll see, okay, well, my grandparents, they're 20 years apart. My grandmother was married at 14 years old and had 12 kids. I'm raising a teenager, and if I think I have a boy, but if I had a daughter at 14 years old, the idea and the notion of marrying her off, this is again pre-feminism, right? Marrying her off for whatever reasons or purposes, and then having her at the mercy of a grown man to birth infinite children, that to me does not sound like a very happy or fulfilling life.
So I live in the Middle East and I'm Muslim, and in Islam there are certain guidelines that you go by when you are courting for marriage. And the Western world used to be traditional. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was the feminist movement. I don't really know.
Hey, so this is insane. She actually has really solid points in her video, but to blame it on feminism, to blame a man's mistreatment of a woman because of feminism just is so insane. Feminism and the feminist movement actually gave us the liberty of not being a man's property.
I don't know when women became so lenient with men when it comes to the courting and marriage process. Why did this happen? Feminism happened to give women
Negro, Van, Peak, Beak, all that stupid ass name that you got. Negroes don't hate nobody. Negroes specifically as a group don't hate anybody. We wish you would just stop the bullshit that you do. It has nothing to do with hating anybody. That's the problem that you don't understand.
more rights, and it should have made it more difficult to.
Goofy. So since we hate you, you hate us, right? Goofy. Is that how it go? Goofy?
To access women, but it actually did the opposite. It made it easier for men to access women. I don't know what happened. It's only benefited men. That's the irony. It's not even helping women. It's just benefiting men.
Right.
Let's brush up on some facts together, because this is insane. Before the feminist movement, like you say, we literally had to get married to survive. A man would marry us in a heartbeat to trap us. We exchanged our freedoms for survival. Women didn't have a choice except to be married, because we literally didn't have rights without it. We literally couldn't vote. We couldn't have a passport. We couldn't attend college. We couldn't earn a living. We couldn't own property. We were the property. We couldn't get a credit card. We literally had to have a man.
See, I don't mind feminism. I don't care what. I don't mind. I like feminism. Feminism is what made us have the things that we had. Like she said, we wouldn't have been able to get X, Y, and Z. I just want to run this list real quick. Men are always talking about feminism turned into anti-male hate. Equality became unequal. Family court and divorce is always on the female side. False accusations and due process. Men's mental health is ignored. Masculinity is treated as a defect. This is wild. And these are the bitching that men have. This is the bitching that you men have. It's the complaints that you have about women. The complaints you have about feminism. Don't even make no sense. These are the things that we wouldn't have if feminism wouldn't have put us in position. Bank accounts, credit cards, loans, property, going to school, universities, being doctors, lawyers, engineers, scientists. We wouldn't have been able to do none of that. Workplaces would have been designed only for men. No safety equipment, no anti-harassment policies, no pregnancy accommodations, no what is it called? Maternity leave, none of that. Women's bodies would have remained medically ignored. Pain management, no OBGYN clinics, no birth control, no prenatal standards. Abuse inside the home would still be private. Feminism brought domestic violence shelters, marital rape laws, rape crisis center, sexual assault hotlines, police protocols. Marriage would be permanent ownership for women, not partnership. The ability to initiate a divorce, custody rights based on child welfare, child support, adoption rights, legal protection from being forced into a marriage. All of these things came along because of feminism. Political power. Laws about women would be made without women. Voting booths for women. Ballots for women with women's names on it. Women elected to office. Women judges, justices. Women who helped shape law and policy. All of that would have been wiped away if feminism wouldn't have been there. Women's movements in the world would be restricted. Just like movements of women in the Middle East, they can't go nowhere without their mom and their daddy and X, Y, and Z. We would still be back there. We wouldn't have driver's license. We wouldn't own a car. Freedom to travel. Public safety standards. We got public safety standards for women. Workplace access without male permission. All of these things we would not have had because if feminism wouldn't have came around. Physical strength in women's sports would still be discouraged. Women's sports leagues, athletic scholarships for women, women Olympics, gyms letting women get in there, sports equipment for women. All of this stuff we got because of feminism. Shut your ass up if you a woman talking about feminism ain't no good. You done lost your damn mind. When I hear a female come on here talking about feminism helped destroy X, Y, and Z, bitch, you don't know what feminism is. Products would still assume only men exist. Pants for women. Never would have been wearing no jeans. Get your ass out of them jeans then, chick. Work uniforms for women. Protective gear for women. Vehicle safety testing for women. Women would only be heard singing and doing things in private. No journalism career. No content creators. No microphones and broadcast platforms for women. No publishing contracts for women. All of this shit came along because of feminism. Without feminism, women would not be citizens, full-fledged citizens. They would be dependents. So like I said, I better not see no female come on here talking about feminism ain't no good. Feminism did this, that, and the third. And most of you men don't know what the hell you talking about neither. Because you sure as hell wouldn't want nobody to be a dependent. Because you don't make enough money to take care of women. That's wild to me that feminism is like it's such a bad word when all of this shit we would never have. I bet you none of the goddamn people have looked up what it would be like without feminism. Ain't no way I want to live in a world without feminism. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. So when I hear somebody don't come on my platform talking about feminism destroyed women, I don't know what the hell you talking about. Yes, this woman has a deep voice because I was in a fire when I was in my 20s and I was screaming and my voice became this deep because of that. So what? So anyway, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. We have content like this every day. This was the Erika Kirk feminism thing about it. We know we're going to have some more news tomorrow because you know Trump is going to make news tomorrow. Of course he's going to make news. He always makes news. He always makes news. Okay? We always make news. Somewhere, somehow, there's going to be some news that happens tomorrow. Please hit the like, share, subscribe. Okay? Yes. Proves this. The fact that you think women deserve any rights proves you're schizophrenic. I know that we got goofies in the chat. I know. We got people in the chat that say dumb shit. These are zombies. These are bots. All I'm saying is feminism brought about things that women, modern day women, or trad wives keep harping about. I don't want to be no modern day woman. You are a modern day woman. You're standing in the middle of what a modern day woman, a feminist woman, helped bring to your table. A feminist woman helped bring this shit to your table. Okay? That should be your assignment. You should be looking up what the world would be like without feminism. And then come back here and talk to me. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe. I'll be back here tomorrow. Of course, I'll be back here tomorrow talking shit, doing what I got to do, saying what the news is about. There wasn't no crazy news except the shooting, but we'll cover some of that tomorrow. Thank you for participating with this show. I appreciate it. Hit the like, share, subscribe. We always got content. We always going to be doing content. So you can always tune in when I turn on. Hit the like, all notification buttons so you can get all of that. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yes, I do. See, I don't block people. Even if you talk crazy to me, I don't block you.